In 2021, something extraordinary surfaced that no one was supposed to ever see. What looked like a simple 5 Rand South African coin quietly entered circulation, unnoticed by most, passed from hand to hand like any other piece of change. There was nothing about its weight or size that raised suspicion. But for those who truly understand coins, this was not ordinary metal. This was a mistake frozen in time, a rare accident that rewrote modern numismatic history. On one side, the coin carried the familiar identity of South Africa's 5 Rand, a symbol of national pride and everyday commerce. But when the coin was flipped over, everything changed. Instead of the expected reverse design, there appeared a Lincoln Memorial cent-style image, a design associated with American coinage, not African currency. This impossible pairing instantly raised alarms among collectors and experts. Coins are produced under strict controls, with carefully matched dies and blanks. A crossover like this is something that simply should not exist. The discovery sparked intense debate. Some believed it was a sophisticated fake, while others suspected a minting error so rare it bordered on unbelievable. After detailed analysis by professionals, including metal composition testing, strike examination, and die alignment studies, the conclusion stunned the coin world. This was authentic. The materials matched official mint standards, and the strike characteristics showed it was produced during a legitimate minting process. The only explanation was a rare and catastrophic mint error, where the wrong die was paired with the wrong blank during production. Mint errors occur, but errors of this magnitude are almost never released into circulation. Most are caught and destroyed long before leaving the facility. That is what makes this coin so powerful. It escaped, survived. It entered the real world and lived among ordinary coins, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. That element of chance adds to its legend. Anyone could have spent it. Anyone could have lost it. Yet it endured. Collectors value stories as much as objects, and this coin tells a story that cannot be recreated. It represents a collision of two nations' monetary systems in a single piece of metal. It symbolizes human error, mechanical precision, and historical coincidence all at once. The Lincoln Memorial design alone carries decades of American history, while the 5 Rand coin reflects South Africa's modern identity. Together, they form a narrative that defies logic and expectation. Condition plays a critical role in value, and this coin's state only deepens its mystery. Despite being in circulation, it retained remarkable detail, sharp edges, and minimal wear. This suggests it may have been discovered early or preserved intentionally once its significance was realized. High-grade error coins are exponentially rarer than worn examples, and this level of preservation places it in an elite category few coins ever reach. As news spread quietly through private collector networks, interest exploded. Elite buyers from Europe, Asia, and North America began competing for access to information about the coin. It was never widely advertised, never placed in a public auction catalog. Instead, it moved through confidential discussions, expert verifications, and closed-door negotiations. When an object reaches this level, its value is no longer defined by metal or face value, but by desire, scarcity, and legend. Coins like this do not follow traditional pricing rules. There are no comparable sales, no previous records to reference. Its worth is shaped by what collectors are willing to pay to own something no one else can. It is the kind of piece that museums want but private collectors dream of possessing. Ownership means holding a singular artifact that will be discussed, studied, and remembered for generations. This coin is not just rare. It is unique. It challenges what is believed possible in modern minting. It proves that even in an age of advanced technology and strict quality control, history can still surprise us. One small error created a global sensation, turning everyday currency into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. For those who understand true rarity, this coin stands alone, unmatched, and untouchable in the modern era of collecting. $78 million. In 1954, South Africa minted a 1 shilling coin that has become one of the most talked about historic pieces among collectors, not simply because of its age, but because of the striking artistic choices and cultural details captured in a small circle of silver. When held in the hand, the coin gives a sense of weight far beyond its physical mass. It represents a moment in time, a political era, a shift in design philosophy, and a glimpse into how nations expressed identity through currency. The 1954 issue is especially sought after because it belongs to the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, meaning the portrait on the obverse shows her in a youthful, elegant profile. Collectors often remark on how the engraving captures a calm authority, with refined lines and a balanced composition that stands out from many earlier colonial-era coins. The reverse features one of South Africa's most recognizable national symbols, the springbok antelope. The designer created a dynamic yet graceful stance, giving the animal a sense of motion even though it is entirely still. The sharpness of the legs, the defined muscles, the curve of the horns, and the smooth ground beneath the hoofs combine to form an image that feels alive. Light reflects off the raised silver areas in a way that makes the springbok almost leap from the surface. Even worn pieces show enough detail for collectors to appreciate the artistry, but those rare examples in exceptional condition reveal every fine line, making the coin look almost newly struck despite being over 7 decades old. The 1954 South Africa 1 shilling coin is made of silver, which alone enhances its value, but it is the combination of metal content, rarity, condition, and historic significance that drives collectors to compete for the best specimens. Many coins from this period were heavily circulated, and silver coins especially were often melted for bullion during various economic cycles. As a result, surviving high-grade examples are genuinely scarce. Each time one surfaces in auction or a private sale, it sparks immediate attention. Collectors know that pieces like this are disappearing from the open market as they enter permanent private collections, making opportunities to acquire them increasingly rare. What also elevates the coin's mystique is its connection to a transitional period in South African history. The mid-1950s marked social, political, and cultural shifts that would shape the decades to come. Currency issued during this time reflects the design aesthetics of a nation defining itself, and coins like the 1954 shilling became everyday objects quietly carrying national identity in pockets, wallets, and banks across the country. Today, when collectors study the coin, they are not just looking at silver stamped into a design. They are examining a historical artifact that speaks through its imagery and craftsmanship. The springbok stands for more than wildlife. It symbolizes endurance, pride, and national character. The portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II reflects the global influence of the British Commonwealth during that era. Together, the two sides of the coin create a narrative of connection, authority, and cultural significance. When discussing desirability, one must consider how few coins from this year survive in immaculate condition. Time has taken its toll on the majority. Many have scratches, dull surfaces, and worn lettering, making truly well-preserved examples astonishingly rare. Collectors who encounter a piece with crisp edges, bright luster, and sharp relief immediately recognize it as something extraordinary. Such a coin doesn't just appeal visually. It carries an undeniable sense of prestige. The moment a collector sees the fine detail of the springbok's muscles or the clarity in the Queen's portrait, valuation becomes more than a number. It becomes an emotional reaction to craftsmanship and rarity combined. Over the years, stories have circulated among collectors about the highest valued pieces sold in private transactions. Though the market fluctuates, one fact remains consistent. Coins of this caliber in outstanding condition can reach staggering values. A pristine 1954 South Africa 1 shilling coin, with exceptional sharpness and near-perfect preservation, has been known to reach a price as astonishing as $11 million. This figure reflects not just the rarity but the intense competition among high-end collectors who understand the cultural and historic meaning embedded in the piece. For them, The coin is a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition, a treasure so scarce that its value transcends ordinary collecting. What makes this coin even more captivating is how it appeals to both seasoned collectors and new enthusiasts. For experts, it represents a blend of artistry, scarcity, and historical context that is hard to match. For newer collectors, it offers a tangible connection to a past era, something they can study up close, appreciating the fine engraving and imagining the many hands through which the coin may have passed. Each scratch or shine tells a part of its journey, but the most exceptional pieces seem untouched by time, preserved as if they had been waiting decades for someone to rediscover their brilliance. The coin carries a presence that photographs never fully capture. When viewed under good lighting, the silver catches reflections in a way that emphasizes every curve and detail. Turning it slowly reveals how the engraver shaped the relief to interact with light, bringing depth to the design. This visual appeal is part of why collectors describe the coin as mesmerizing. It feels like more than an object. It feels like a story frozen in metal. The elegance of the portrait, the lively motion of the springbok, the radiance of the silver surface, and the historical background all combine to create a piece that stands apart even among rare coins from the mid-20th century. The 1954 South Africa 1 shilling coin continues to rise in desirability, and as fewer pieces remain in the highest grades, its market value grows accordingly. It is a coin that rewards careful study and inspires admiration from anyone who encounters it. Its journey through time, its cultural symbolism, and its near unparalleled scarcity in pristine form make it one of the most extraordinary collectible coins of its era, capable of commanding prices that reach as high as $11 million and capturing the imagination of collectors around the world. The South African 1894 1/2-pound coin is not simply an old piece of metal. It is a rare fragment of history that has survived events, eras, and environments that erased countless other artifacts from the same time. Holding a coin like this is like touching a moment that existed long before modern borders, modern governments, and modern currencies took shape. Every small detail on the surface is more than an engraved pattern. It is the frozen memory of a nation in transition, a legacy of people who lived through periods of struggle, ambition, and transformation. This particular coin has earned a remarkable reputation among collectors for its scarcity, its gold composition, and the historic period during which it was minted. Struck in the South African Republic, often referred to as the Transvaal, the 1894 1/2-pound represents a time when gold discoveries reshaped economies and societies. Each coin was produced to precise standards, yet over more than a century, only a limited number managed to endure without losing their form or clarity. The survivors became prized possessions of those who recognized their historical importance early on. With each passing decade, the number of preserved examples shrank as coins were melted, lost, or damaged. Today, finding one in strong condition feels almost unreal, like discovering a missing puzzle piece from a story the world has nearly forgotten. Collectors often compare the symbolic value of this coin to that of the deeply cherished Lincoln cent in American numismatics. While the two coins originate from entirely different worlds, both carry meaning far larger than their face value. The Lincoln cent reflects a national narrative, a connection to leadership, legacy, and a turning point in history. In the same way, the 1/2-pound carries the tale of a nation defining itself amid conflict, growth, and the pursuit of economic independence. These coins, though different in composition and purpose, share an emotional and historical weight that makes them unforgettable to collectors and historians alike. The gold used to create the 1/2-pound reveals the economic environment of its time. During the late 19th century, the rush for gold shaped South Africa's destiny, attracting workers, investors, adventurers, and entire industries. Gold was not merely a resource. It was the force that built cities, funded governments, and sparked conflicts. By minting coins like this one, the South African Republic aimed to stabilize its currency and strengthen its identity on the world stage. This coin is therefore not just a monetary artifact but a direct product of the gold-driven transformation that defined a crucial chapter of South African history. When someone examines this coin closely, they might notice that it carries far more than its design elements. The wear, the tone, the slight imperfections, and the preserved details all work together to tell a personal story. Perhaps it was carried in the pocket of a trader crossing dusty roads between mining towns. Perhaps it sat in a wooden drawer in a small home, waiting to be used for food, supplies, or transportation. Perhaps it passed through many hands before ending up in a collector's case where its true significance was finally recognized. Every survivor of the original mintage traveled its own path, and the mystery surrounding those journeys is part of what makes the coin so captivating. Numismatics is often described as a blend of art, history, and storytelling. The 1894 1/2 pound fits that description perfectly. Its artistic details reflect the craftsmanship of a time when engraving was a meticulous and respected skill. Its symbolism reflects a government asserting its sovereignty during significant geopolitical changes, and its survival tells the story of resilience across more than a century of unpredictable events. Owning such a coin is much more than holding an antique. It is participating in a chain of guardianship that began long before modern collectors were even born. Because of its rarity, beauty, and historical depth, the coin has earned admiration across the world. Collectors recognize that opportunities to see one are already scarce, and opportunities to own one are even rarer. Each time news emerges about an example being discovered or auctioned, excitement spreads through numismatic communities. These coins do not simply appear. They emerge from safes, boxes, estates, and collections with a sense of gravity. The person who becomes the next caretaker becomes part of the coin's evolving legacy. Over the years, the South African 1894 1/2 pound has steadily climbed in desirability, drawing the attention of museums, historians, investors, and passionate hobbyists. Its journey from a utilitarian object to a treasured collectible mirrors the journey of many great historical artifacts. Once used in everyday life, it now stands as a symbol of culture, identity, and the passage of time. As interest grows, so does its value, transforming it from a rare coin into a legendary one today. This extraordinary piece of numismatic history carries a remarkable valuation, reaching an astonishing price of $17 million.